So shall we start the session? In the last class, we have finished with the chapter number 30, that is how to use the Java serialization. So what are the various concepts, what are the various serialization keys that is available in the Java. Now let's move to the next chapter, that is chapter number 31, Java networking. We have studied one of the module, one of the subject that is known as the networking. So you have a knowledge of the networking in advance very well for the Java. Now we are using the networking in the Java programming. So that concept is known as the Java networking. So it contains two elements, two parts, two words. One is the Java, one is the networking. So whenever we are using the networks in a Java, whenever we are using the networking within the Java programming, that is known as the Java networking. So the term network programming refers to the writing the programs that executes and maintain the flows, that executes and make the flows accessible. So network programming refers to writing the program that executes across the multiple devices. So whenever we combine multiple devices, whenever we write the same program and that can execute on a multiple devices on a computers in which each device is connected to each other using a network, that is known as networking or Java networking. So the term network programming refers to writing of the programs that executes across multiple devices. Multiple devices means multiple computers in which devices are connected with each other using a network. For example, in a classroom, there are 5 computers. These 5 computers are connected with each other or combined with each other with the multiple devices, with the multiple concept, with the multiple connections. That concept is known as the network, and we are running the same program on the multiple devices. And the Java.NET package of the J2SE API contains a collection of classes and interfaces that provides the low-level communication details. That means there is an application programming interface that is known as the API that contains a collection of the classes and the interfaces. Classes means that combines data members and the member functions, and interfaces means the functions or the methods that provide the low-level communication details that allows you to write the program that focus on solving the problem at hand. That means whenever we are solving the problem that is solved by the network programming, that is solved by the Java network. So brief overview is clear. What we are going to study in this chapter, that is the Java networking. That means how to use or how to run the execute the program on a one computer that can be shared by multiple computers. And we are using the API, that is application programming interface, for the J2SE concept that provides the classes as well as the interfaces. So any doubts till now, because this is the base what we are going to study in this chapter. Any doubts anyone? Okay, so let's move to the next part. Next one is what are the various protocols that is available in the Java.NET package. Now my question is to each and everyone, what is a protocol? Anyone can answer what is a protocol? Yes, very good. So protocols are the rules, regulation that we follow over the internet. For example, if I want to communicate with another person over the internet, we are using either the Facebook, either Orkut, either any application messenger that is used for the chatting purpose. So that application protocol is used for the protocol, so that is used for the network protocol. So protocols are the rules, regulation that we follow over the internet for communication. So in Java.NET package, we are using 2 protocols. One is a TCP, one is a UDP. And this TCP and the UDP are of the transport layer that is available on the transport layer of the OSI model. Remember about the OSI model that we studied in the networking in the last module. OSI model that contains 7 layers, and one of the layer is the internet layer that contains 2 protocols. One is the TCP and the UDP. Can anyone tell me the full form of this TCP and the UDP? Anyone? Yes, it is available on the screen. You can refer by the screen. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol and UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. Now, what is the main difference between the TCP and the UDP? Anyone? Yes, very good. TCP is a connection-oriented protocol and UDP is the connection-less protocol. That means whenever we are performing, whenever we are doing the reliable communication between 2 applications, that is known as a connection-oriented protocol. Connection-oriented. Next one is connection-less. That means once a connection is established, the data will be transferred After data transmission, after acknowledgement, after everything, the connection will be lost. That is known as a connectionless protocol. So one is a connection oriented, one is a connectionless. And TCP is a connection oriented protocol, UDP is a connectionless protocol. Right? So Java.NET package uses two protocols, one is TCP, one is the UDP. So read out these two lines for the TCP. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol that allows for the reliable communication between two applications. Reliable means trustworthy communication or fruitful communication between two applications, and these are typically run over the Internet Protocol that is known as the TCP/IP. So there is a mini version of the OSI model that is known as the TCP/IP model, Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol model. In that model, there are only 4 layers, and internet layer is one of the layer in the TCP/IP, and basically we are defining the each and every protocol of that 4 layers only. Why? Because OSI contains 7 layers, and if we are able to declare each and every protocol on the each layer, so that will be a hodgepodge in the OSI model. So we are separating 4 layers in the TCP/IP and performing the protocols on that 4 layers. So that is the networking. Do not go to the networking because we already discussed about the networking. So the main crux is that we are using 2 protocols. One is a TCP, one is a UDP. And TCP is a connection oriented and UDP is a connectionless. Now, connectionless allows the packets of data to be transmitted between the applications. Next is, what are the various programming that we are discussing, that we are going to discuss in the Java networking. One is a socket programming, one is a URL processing. Socket programming means that is widely used concept in networking, and it has explained in very detail. That means one of the API concept is a socket programming, and we are going to discuss it in very well, that is a socket programming. Then URL processing, that will be covered separately, and separately means we are going to discuss in separate part, that is a URL processing. So any doubts anyone till now? Because first part is the basics of the network programming. Then what are the various protocols that is used in the network programming? Then what are the various subjects, or we can say what are the various topics that we are going to discuss in this Java tutorial, Java. So any doubts anyone till now? Okay. So let's move to the next part. Next part is a URL processing or URL programming. Now, can anyone tell me what is the full form of URL? Yes, it's a uniform resource locator. That means, in simple terms, whatever that is available on the address bar, that is known as a URL. The main crux is that, the main thing is that URL always starts with the HTTP or the HTTPS. Not Yes. It is available in the address bar, and it is starting with the HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or the Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, that is HTTPS. Yes, it's a unique address for each and every site. That's why it is known as a uniform resource locator. Uniform means unique. Resource means information. Locator means to find out. That means to find out the information that is unique. That is known as a URL. So these 3 words are very important. That is, a locator means a finder that finds the information, that is a resource, that is unique, uniform. So that is known as a uniform resource locator. And it represents a resource on the www, that is a World Wide Web, such as the web pages or the FTP directory. Now, my question is different from this Java programming. Who is known as the father of www? Please remember each and every module. We have studied last module, that is the networking, and you don't know who is the father of www. This is the first concept, this is the first chapter. Anyone? Yes, very good, Joseph. Tim Berners-Lee is known as the father of www. Okay, so let's move forward. So this section allows you to write the Java program that communicate with the URL, that is how to communicate with the URL how to communicate with the uniform resource locator, that is broken down into the parts. What are the two parts in which it is broken down? One is a protocol, then there is a host port, and there is a path query. That means what is a path? That may be an absolute path, that may be a relative path by which we can access a protocol, by which we can use the protocol. So protocols, this part contains two parts. One is a protocol, one is a host port. Now, these are the various examples of the protocol that is used in the Java. One is the HTTP. HTTP that we have discussed right now, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol is used for the navigation over the internet, over the website. And next one is the HTTPS. Everything is same, but this is more secure than the HTTP. And this is the, we can say, the latest version of the HTTP. So Hypertext Transfer Protocol, secure. Next one is FTP, File Transfer Protocol. So whenever we are transferring any files, for example, I'm transferring one file via email, that can be, or that file will be transferred using a protocol. That protocol is known as the FTP. There are a list of the protocol in TCP/IP model. So these are the few examples. So we can see these are the protocol that is used in the Java network. And the path is also referred to as a file name, and the host is also known as the authority. So whenever we are talking about the path, that we can also use as a term of the file name, and the host is also used as an authority. And this is the URL to a web page whose protocol is HTTP. This is one of the examples. When I click on this one, it will direct jump to the armood or the amroot.com. This is one of the example of the HTTP example of the URL. Note that this URL does not specify a port, in which case the default port is used. And what is the default port in the HTTP? That is 80 number is the default port in the HTTP. So URL processing, this basic concept, what is the URL, how to use, this is clear to each and everyone. Just do one thing, read out these three topics. One is the basics, then protocols, then URL processing within 2 minutes, and if there is any doubt, then ask the doubts. And then after 2 minutes, we are going to start with the new concept, that is URL class methods. That is, what are the various functions that is used in the Java programming using the URL. So let's read out for 2 minutes. So everyone done with the revision? Any doubts, anyone? Yes, Larry, there is a difference between the TCP and the UDP. One is a connection oriented. One is a connection oriented, one is a connectionless. And if we compare these protocols, so TCP is far better than the UDP because that is a connection oriented. There are some pros, there are some cons of these TCP and the UDP, but if we compare, so TCP is slightly higher than the UDP. Okay, any other doubts, anyone? So let's move to the next part. Let's move to the next topic, that is the URL class methods. What are the various functions? What are the various methods that we can use in the Java programming using the URL? So there's a java.net.url class. There's a class name that is java.net.url that represents the URL and has complete set of the methods to manipulate the URL in the Java. There are multiple methods that are using the or that are used to manipulate the URL in the Java. Now let's see what are the various methods that is available to manipulate these that are used to manipulate these methods. So URL class has multiple constructors for creating the URL that include, first one is public URL, and there are arguments that is passed with the string protocol, string host, and the int host. So there are three protocols, or there are three arguments, there are three parameters that is passed. One is a protocol name that is of the string type. One is a host name that is a computer name that is also of the string type. One is a port number. Port number is of the integer category, but it is available in the numeric format. Then file name, it is also used as a string type because it is available within the alphabetical form or word form. So these are the four protocols. One is a protocol. These are the four, sorry, not protocol, these are the four parameters. One is a protocol. next one is a host, next one is a port, next one is a file. So these three variables are of the string category and one is of the integer category. Then throws URL exception, that is a malformed URL exception. So this creates a URL by putting together the given parts. So whenever we put together given parts, for example, there is a particular protocol HTTP, hostname www.google.com, for example, then port number is 80. So it is used, or this creates a URL by putting together the given parts. Putting together means combining the various parts of the URL. Then next is public URL, string protocol, string host, string files. In this case, there are only three protocols. There are three only parameter that is used. One is a protocol, one is a host, one is a file. That throws malformed URL exception. So this is identical to the previous constructor, previous method, but the main difference is that there is no port number that is required. So it is taking out as the default port number, default port for the given protocol that is used. So that means there is no protocol or there is no port number that is defined. So it is using the default port for the given protocol. Then public URL, string URL throws malformed URL exception. In this only there is only one parameter, that is URL of the string type. So this creates a URL from the given string. The next one is public URL, URL context, string URL. Again, it is taken out as a two parameter. One is a context, that is of the URL type. One is of the URL, that is of the string type. That means first of all, context is used as a parameter, as a variable of the URL type, and the URL variable is taken out as a string type. That shows malformed URL exception. So these are the 4 points that is used, or these are the 4 methods that is used within the java.node.URL. So this is the class that represents a URL and have a complete set of the methods to manipulate the URL in the Java program. And the URL class contains many methods for accessing the various parts of the URL being represented. So there are multiple parts, there are various parts of the URL that is presented in the Java, that is presented in the URL. Now let's see what are the various methods that is used in the URL class. So these are the various methods that is used. Now it's audible to each and everyone. Hello. Yeah, my voice is clear to each and everyone. Hello. Okay. So these are the various classes, or these are the various methods that is used in the URL. So first of all, we have talked about what are the various constructors that is used as a URL. Next part is what is used in the URL, that includes the following, that what are the various methods that is used in the URL class. So first one is public string getPath. So getPath is a function or getPath function that returns the path of the URL. Then public string getQuery. So one is the getPath for getting the or fetching the path of the URL. That may be absolute path, that may be a relative path. So for fetching the path of the URL, we are using the public string path function. Then public string getQuery function that returns the query path or the query part of the URL. The next one is public string getAuthority. So it returns the authority of the URL. And public int getPort. So whenever we want to fetch the port number of the URL, that may be a default protocol or the port number, or that is the port number we have inserted. So that is represented by the public int getPort number or getPort function. Then public int getDefault port. So one is the getPort, that is manually we are feeding the port. So we are manually taking out the getPort function, taking out the getPort scenario. Then public int getDefault port. So what is the default port? That means it always gives the value of 80. So this is return the default port of the protocol of the URL. Then public string get protocol. So which protocol is used in the HTTP, which protocol is used in the URL. So this function fetching out the protocol. So it is available or it is recognized by the name only. Get path means fetching out the path. Get query means what is the query we are giving to the URL, we are giving to the Java programming. Then get authority. So it is represents the owner information. Then get port. Else everything is same. Look, there is a public, there is a string. That means it is of the public type, it is of the string category, string data type. Then get port means taking out the port number, that is manually feeding up. Then get default port, that means what is the default value of the port number, and the default value always have a 80. Then get protocol means fetching the protocol, which protocol is used. Either we are using the HTTP, either we are using the FTP or HTTPS. Then get host, so this is used to get the host name. Host name means a computer name, or we can say the computer's name we are giving in the networking. This is the same function, nothing is different. Then get file. So this returns the file name of the URL, which is the file name, not the exact file, but only the name of the file. Then get reference for getting the reference, for getting the address of the URL. And last one is a URL connection, open connection, throws input output exception. So this gives the output in either true or the false, yes or no. That means whether the URL connection, there is an open connection or there is a closed connection. If there is an open connection, that throws the input output exception. So these 11 functions is clear to each and everyone. It is recognized by the name only. Path means that may be absolute path, that may be relative path, or it will display the exact path. For example, my data is stored in the D drive, so it is showing in the computer's C drive or the D drive. If it is available in my pen drive, so it is showing the exact path. In the same way, whatever the Java programming module we are using, whatever the Java programming tool we are using, so it represents the absolute path of the URL. In the same way, these are the 11 functions that is defined in the URL. So any doubts, anyone? Okay, so next is an example of these each and every function. That means now I am compiling these functions into the practical part, that is the programming part. This is the programming feature. This is the program that is showing each and every function. So this is the demo program, or we can say the class name is a demo that demonstrates the various parts of the URL, and this is available on the command line. So we are executing this program on the DOS base because this is a very perfect example of the DOS base, and it requires so many fluctuations or so many prompts, so we are using on the DOS base. We are not executing this program on the Java beans or the net beans. So let's start with this program. This is available with the comments. The file name is a URL demo.java. So name of the class is URL demo. So first is we are importing the two functions. One is the import java.net. So import java.net means we are using networking in the Java, which is java.net. Then we are using the java.input output. That means whatever the input we are given whatever the output that is available after giving the input. So what are the various inputs and the outputs, that is import java.input output. One is the java.net one is the java.input output. Then public class URL demo. Name of the class is URL demo. Then public static void means string args. This is, I think there is no need to define this line because this is the main line that is available in each and every program of the Java, because this is like a main gate of your house. This is the public static void main string args. Then after that there is a try block. In the try block, this is the URL that is available as a data type, that is available at the exit class. And there is a variable, name of the variable is URL, that is storing the values of the new URL argument 0. That means we are taking the argument 0, we are taking the first part. as a new keyword. So it is storing the new keyword of the URL into the URL variable. So this is the capital URL, this is the small URL. But it is representing the argument 0, that is the first value or the first part of this one. Then system.out.println. System.out.println is used to print on the screen URL is. So it is available as it is on the screen, but it is used within the double quote. URL is URL.toString. So we are using the toString function. ToString means converting into the string, or the toString is used for the string function for representing or showing on the screen. Then system.out.println. Then protocol is URL.getProtocol. Now, the protocol is defined as it is, or it is showing, it is printed as it is, and its protocol is then URL get protocol. Same functions. Get protocol means fetching out the protocol name. Then system.out.println. Authority is URL.get authority. Then system.out.println. File name is URL.get file. So these are the same functions. Now it is available within the practical part, how we can get able to use in a practical mode. Then system.out.println. Host is then URL.get host function. Then system.out.println. Then path is getting the path, URL.get path function. Then system.out.println. Then port is URL.get port function. Then for fetching the default port, we are using URL.get default port number. Then query is means URL.get query. Then reference is URL.get reference. So these are the functions. We can see the URL function that is defined by using the dot operator. URL means for fetching the get protocol from the URL, we are using the dot operator like we are using in the arrays, or we are using the access parameters, the access delimiters. And after this the try block is over, this is closing, that is the curly braces or the closing of the try block. Then there is a catch block, input output exception E. So there is the input output exception E. After or within the catch block there is a term, or there is a, we can say, the function that is calling a e.print stack trace. So one name of the function is print stack trace, and this is of the E or input output exception E. So e.print stack trace, and there is a parenthesis. Then again there is a closing of this one, again there is a closing of this one, again there is a closing of this one. So these are the, this one is the closing of this catch block, this is the closing of this main function, and this is the closing of this class, that is the URL name. So one closing curly brace is used for the catch, one closing brace is used for the void main function, one closing brace is used for the class URL name. Now this is the output of this one. This is the URL, for example, we are giving in the, yes, this is the same URL that we are given in the last program, because that program is related to this program. So URL is http, then there is a double slash, backward slash, and www.mru.com, then index.html language equals to enchant.j2se. Now, first part is getting the protocol. Which is the protocol? Name of the protocol is HTTP. And authority means the name of the site is www.mru.com. Then file name is index.html. So we are executing, or we are designing this site by using the HTML language. So this is the HTML language equals to English, but that is EN. So we are using the HTML language in the English. This is index.html, and there is a question mark, language equals to en hash. Next is host. Host name is same with the authority name, because host name is the same of the site name, and the authority is also the site, that is the owner, www.mru.com. Then path. Hello. So path means way by which we can access this one. So we are writing this program in the index.html, that is the HTML language. So the path is index.html, and the port language that is given is in this one, that is -1. Just wait for 2 minutes. So sorry for the delay. So let's continue with this one. So the path name that is available is index.html. Path is available as index.html because it is available in the HTML language. And the port number is -1. In this we are excluding, or we are giving the port number as a -1. This is not the default port, that is 80. Next one is default port is available as 80. Then query name. Query name is a language equals to ES. Query is language equals to ES. So we are using the language as a English. So language equals to ES, and the reference ID, that is the REFIS. Reference ID is given as a J2SE. So we are using the Java programming. So J2SE is the reference ID. So this is the program of this. This is the program of the URL demo. So one is the protocol that is available with the HTTP, then authority name, then file name, host name, then there is a path name, port is, default port is, and the query is, that is language equals to ES, then reference ID is J2S. So this is the output of this program. So let's try on this program. Let's again continue this program. The first one is we are using the two files. We are using the two header files. One is the java.networking, that is java.net.star, then java.input-output.star. Then public class URL demo. So name of the class is the URL demo. Then we are using the main function. After the main function, we are using the try block. Within the try block, there is a URL that is available with the argument, that is continued with the argument 0. Then next few lines, that is, we can see the 8 or 9 lines are the system.out.println. So URL is URL.toString. For fetching the string, for fetching the main content, we are using the .toString. Then URL.getProtocol. For fetching the protocol, which protocol is used within the URL, we are using the getProtocol function. Then getAuthority function. Then getFile function for accessing the file. Then getHost function. Then yes, host is the same as authority. That is the owner. Host means the owner who is hosting the content. Then next is the getPath. That may be absolute path, that may be a relative path. Then getPort, that is the port we are giving, not the by default port. Next one is the default or get default port. The by default, that is the 80. Then get URL, then get reference ID. After this file load, there is a cache, input output function PD, then e.print string case function. So read out this program for 2 minutes, and if there is a doubt, then please ask us. Read out this program for 2 minutes. So everyone is done with the program. Any doubts, anyone? Yes, Larry, this is the same, but there is a difference between the get port and the get default port. Default means that is by default that is available. Yes, by default port number is 80 in each and every case for the HTTP. And get port means we are inserting we are using the HTML language, so which is the port number that we are giving in the HTML language. And a reference ID, and yes, wait, Joseph, I'm giving you an answer. Reference ID is available as a J2SE. That means we are using the Java language. We are giving in the URL J2SE, that means the Java language that is used for the socket programming, that is used for the URL programming, J2SE. Any other doubts, anyone? Yes, host name and the authority name is same. And the next part is, any other doubts, anyone? Next part is URL connection class methods. Okay, not an issue. So we will continue this topic in the next class. So we will discuss this topic in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is Friday, not a weekend. Okay, so don't take tension, Joseph. We will finish this chapter in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, Friday's class. So let's stop over here. So any doubts, anyone till now regarding the assignment, regarding the module? Yeah, today the class is delayed by half an hour due to some GoToMeeting software issues. Okay. So any other doubts, anyone? Regarding the assignments, regarding the modules, regarding this Java module, regarding networking, regarding any of the topics, regarding any of the modules we have discussed so far. Okay, so we will meet tomorrow with the new concepts. So we have discussed right now, till now, what are the various URL class methods. Now next topic is URL connection class methods. So one is simple class methods, one are the various connections class methods.